Hey everyone, so have you noticed how the whole reverse bullet hell or bullet heaven genre is totally blowing up lately? A lot of the hype is thanks to Vampire Survivors, that cool little game with its gothic horror vibe and roguelike twists. What's so fresh about it? Instead of dodging crazy bullet storms like in traditional bullet hell games, you actually become the chaos, blasting through waves of enemies without breaking a sweat. It's such a fun flip on a classic formula, and honestly, it's super addictive, especially on your phone where the simple controls make it a breeze to jump in and just start wreaking havoc. Because Vampire Survivors nailed that sweet spot between easy to pick up gameplay and that satisfying, just one more run feeling. Tons of other games have popped up trying to capture the same magic. So in this video, we're diving into the best mobile games like Vampire Survivors, titles that bring the same kind of excitement, chaos, and endless fun right to your fingertips. Whether you're a fan of bullet heaven or just love those casual games that hook you for hours, I've got you covered with some awesome recommendations. Let's get into it.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel.
If you enjoy these types of list videos,
don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos.
Enjoy watching.
Thanks.
Alright, so let me tell you about Magic Survival, one of those hidden gems in the world of mobile games that fans of Vampire Survivors will definitely want to check out. It's a reverse bullet hell game, which means instead of dodging tons of enemy bullets, you're the one shooting spells at endless waves of corrupted spirits. The setting is pretty cool too. It's this dark magical world where a wizard war went way too far with death magic, and now all these spirits have turned into these nasty demonic creatures that want to devour everything alive. Your job? Wipe them out with all kinds of magical spells coming from every direction. What I really like about Magic Survival is how chill it feels compared to other mobile games. There is no energy system, so you don't have to worry about waiting hours to play again. You just jump right back in whenever you want. Also, there's no daily login reward system pushing you to open the game every single day, which honestly is refreshing. You get to just enjoy the game without feeling pressured or distracted by all those extra tasks. It's just you, your spells, and those waves of infected spirits trying to take you down. The gameplay itself is super straightforward, but addictive. It's all about surviving as long as you can in one endless mode, while collecting and upgrading spells and abilities that get stronger the longer you last. There's something really satisfying about watching your powers grow and facing tougher and tougher enemies with cool spell combos. Sure, it might not have the flashiest graphics or the biggest storyline, but sometimes simple and fun beats all that complicated stuff. So if you are looking for a mobile game like Vampire Survivors that's easy to pick up, endlessly playable, and has that dark magical vibe, Magic Survival should definitely be on your radar. It nails the addictive gameplay loop without forcing you to jump through hoops or spend money, making it perfect for quick sessions or long grinding runs. Give it a shot and see how many spirits you can wipe out before they overwhelm you. Alright, let me tell you about Major Survival. Escape the Void, a hidden gem that really scratches that Vampire Survivors itch on mobile. Released back in July 2022 for Android, this game takes the whole wizard and magic vibe and flips the bullet hell genre on its head. In a good way. You play as one of 6 different mages, each rocking their own elemental spells, summoned by the Wizard King to clear out this mysterious enigma swarm invading the Void Zone. It's like getting a magic-heavy challenge wrapped in pixel art goodness. Speaking of pixel art, the visuals here are really something. It's not just retro for the sake of retro, the spells really pop off the screen with satisfying effects when you hit enemies. Watching your fireballs, ice shards, and lightning bolts light up the battlefield is oddly rewarding. It kind of reminds me of those moments in Vampire Survivors where you just sit back and enjoy the chaos. Except here, you're actually casting cool spells rather than just moving around. What I really like about Major Survival is the variety it offers. With 6 mages to choose from, you can mix up your playstyle by focusing on different elemental magic, which keeps things fresh. Plus, there are multiple modes to try out, so whether you want a quick casual run or a more intense survival challenge, the game has you covered. It's like a little magic playground that suits whatever mood you're in. If you're someone who loved Vampire Survivors but always wished for something a bit more magical and with deeper spellcasting, this one is definitely worth checking out. It delivers that addictive loop of upgrading and surviving but with an enchanting twist. So, if you're into mobile games where you blast waves of enemies with cool spells and pixel art charm, give Major Survival a shot. It might just become your new pocket wizard adventure. Alright, let's talk about Dark Survival, A game that pretty much nails that Vampire Survivors vibe, but with its own dark fantasy twist. Imagine enemies coming at you from every direction like a reverse bullet hell, and you're just trying to dodge, survive, and kill as many monsters as possible. It's simple, straightforward, and honestly, kind of addictive once you get the hang of it. You move around, rack up kills, and get stronger along the way. Classic roguelike stuff, but with a fresh fantasy flavor. Now, don't expect Dark Survival to reinvent the wheel here. It doesn't try to be some groundbreaking masterpiece or radically different from Vampire Survivors. Instead, it embraces what made that game popular and runs with it. You get straightforward controls, easy to understand gameplay, and a solid progression system where every kill boosts your power. Plus, there are plenty of cool skills and weapons to mess around with, so it never really gets boring. It's that perfect kind of game you can pick up when you want something casual but still fun. One of the best things about Dark Survival is how accessible it is. Whether you are stuck on a subway, chilling in the bathroom, or just sitting through a painfully boring class, this game fits right into those little pockets of downtime. It's casual, quick to jump into, and doesn't demand a ton of commitment, just pure, simple fun. And hey, it's available both on Android and Windows, so you can play wherever you want. If you are hunting for a solid alternative to Vampire Survivors on mobile, Dark Survival is definitely worth checking out. It's not trying to steal the spotlight or be flashy, it's just a well-made game that knows exactly what it wants to be. So if you love that roguelike, monster-swarming survival challenge with a dark fantasy vibe, give this one a shot. You might find yourself hooked before you know it. Alright, let me tell you about Survivor.io, one of the best mobile games out there if you're craving something like Vampire Survivors but want a bit more action and fast-paced gameplay. Released back in October 2019, it's available on Android, iOS, and even Windows, so you can jump in no matter what device you have. What's cool is how it combines that endless zombie survival vibe with a roguelike twist, meaning every run feels fresh and unpredictable. You never really know what's coming next, and that keeps you hooked. The gameplay is pretty straightforward but addictive. You are basically the last defender standing in a city overrun by zombies, and you have to fight wave after wave of the undead trying to get to you. The controls are super easy, designed for one-handed play, which is perfect when you're on the go or just chilling somewhere. Plus, the game gives you a ton of evolving skills and weapons to unlock, so as you play, your character gets more powerful and your playstyle can totally change run to run. What really sets Survivor.io apart is the non-stop action and those boss fights that sneak up on you. You have to stay on your toes because one wrong move and it's game over. But that's also the thrill. It's not just mindless tapping, you actually have to strategize a bit and adapt your skills depending on the zombies and bosses coming your way. It's casual enough to pick up quickly, but deep enough to keep you coming back. If you loved Vampire Survivors for its simplicity and that endless roguelike charm but wished it had a bit more punch and speed, Survivor.io is a perfect fit. It keeps that addictive, just one more round feeling alive, but gives you a fresh take with zombies and action-packed survival. Seriously, if you haven't tried it yet, give it a go. It's one of those games that's easy to jump into anytime and can keep you entertained for hours. If you're into games like Vampire Survivors, you've got to check out Grim Knight Heroes Survivors. This one throws you right into the middle of a city under siege, where an evil necromancer has unleashed all kinds of nasty enemies. What really caught my attention is the retro vibe. Those classic 16-bit graphics and the catchy old-school soundtrack really give it that nostalgic charm. It feels familiar, but with its own twist, so it stands out among the sea of similar games on mobile stores. Now, what makes Grim Knight Heroes interesting is the variety it offers. You get to pick from 7 different heroes, each with their own unique abilities that change how you play. Plus, there are over 25 skills to unlock and around 40 quests to keep things fresh. The game features 8 different stages, each with its own set of enemies and big boss fights, which means you won't get bored easily. Unlike some games that just keep going endlessly, Grim Knight Heroes actually has a proper ending, which is kind of refreshing. Another thing I liked is how it keeps in-app purchases to a minimum. That's a big deal because mobile games these days can be full of pay-to-win stuff. Grim Knight Heroes doesn't fall into that trap, so you can enjoy the game without feeling pressured to spend extra money. Honestly, even if it sounds simple on paper, you really have to play it to get how fun and solid it is. So if you want a Vampire Survivors-like experience with a bit more depth and style, Grim Knight Heroes Survivors is definitely worth a shot. If you're into that whole Vampire Survivors vibe but looking for something fresh to sink your teeth into, Pickle Survivor might just be your next favorite grind. This game drops you right into a post-apocalyptic world where the darkness has totally taken over. You play as Pickle Pete, armed with an endless arsenal of guns and an auto-fire system that makes blasting through hordes of enemies feel incredibly satisfying. It's a top-down arena shooter, so you get that chaotic action with simple controls, making it super easy to pick up and play whenever you want. What really makes Pickle Pete stand out in the sea of roguelike games is its deep progression system. Each run feels different because you can build your character in unique ways, experimenting with different weapons and upgrades to find your perfect combo. It's the kind of game where you keep coming back because you want to see what crazy build you can create next. Plus, the gameplay loop is addictive without being overwhelming, which is perfect if you want to kill some time but still feel like you're leveling up your skills. Another thing to love about Pickle Pete: Survivor is the variety of game modes. Whether you want to casually survive waves of baddies or jump into intense boss fights that really test your reflexes and strategy, this game has got you covered. Those boss battles are no joke and bring a satisfying challenge that keeps the adrenaline pumping. It's like a little stress test for your survival skills, but in the best possible way. All in all, if you enjoy the simplicity and addictiveness of Vampire Survivors but crave a fresh setting with guns, endless enemies, and tons of build variety, Pickle Pete Survivor is worth a shot. It's available on Android and Windows, so you can play it pretty much anywhere. Give it a go if you want a chill but action-packed roguelike experience that's easy to jump into but hard to put down. If you're a fan of Vampire Survivors and looking for something similar but with a fresh twist, let me tell you about Crimsonland. This game drops you right in the middle of a monstrous onslaught. Think thousands of aliens, mutant lizards, and giant spiders all crawling towards you with one goal: to eat you alive. It's a top-down shooter with a bit of role-playing game flavor, boasting over 30 weapons and 50 perks that you can mix and match to carve through the madness. So, instead of just mindlessly shooting, you actually get to strategize how you want to survive the carnage. One of the coolest things that sets Crimsonland apart from your typical Vampire Survivors-like game is how every enemy you kill leaves a permanent mark on the battlefield. Imagine bodies piling up over time, a gruesome reminder of the chaos you've unleashed. It's a little like watching your own personal horror movie unfold in slow motion. Plus, unlike many mobile games in this genre, where the game often auto-attacks and you just dodge, Crimsonland puts full manual aiming in your hands. That means you actually get to feel in control of your firepower, which makes every shot count. The game is also packed with content. There's a quest mode featuring 60 missions, which is perfect if you like having clear goals to smash through. On top of that, the survival modes challenge you to last as long as possible, giving you a shot at climbing the Google Play leaderboards. So if you're competitive, you've got a reason to keep coming back and pushing your skills. It's a nice mix of slow burning strategy and frantic shooting that keeps things interesting. In short, Crimsonland feels a bit more deliberate and thoughtful than your usual reverse bullet hell games. It's not just about surviving chaos, but mastering a deeper strategic layer with endless weapon and perk combinations. If you want a game that gives you that Vampire Survivors vibe but with more control, more carnage on screen, and a whole lot of alien slaying, Crimsonland should definitely be on your radar. It's a refreshing take on a popular formula that's fun, challenging, and totally worth your time. Alright, imagine this. You're not some mighty warrior or a futuristic soldier, but a potato. Yes, a potato. Sounds weird, right? But that's exactly what Brotato throws at you. You play as this spud who somehow manages to juggle 6 different weapons at once while fighting off waves of enemies. It's chaotic, it's wild, and honestly, it's way more fun than you'd expect. Plus, the game has this cool soundtrack that totally keeps you hooked while you're dodging bullets and slicing through hordes of baddies. What really makes Brotato stand out from all those Vampire Survivors knockoffs is how much customization it offers. There are dozens of characters, each with their own unique perks, so you're not stuck playing the same way every time. And the arsenal? It's massive. You get to mix and match weapons to fit your style, whether you want to be a close-range berserker or a ranged sniper potato. The gameplay loop is super addictive, and every run feels fresh because you can try out new combos and strategies. At the end of the day, Brotato isn't just another pixelated survivor game. It's a hilarious, action-packed challenge that really pushes you to improve. If you're a fan of Vampire Survivors but want something a bit different and way more spuddy, this game is definitely worth checking out. Trust me, once you start, you won't want to stop. If you're into roguelikes, bullet hell games, or just a big fan of Lovecraftian horror vibes, then 20 Minutes Till Dawn is definitely something you should try on your phone. Imagine stepping into this eerie, almost blank world filled with creepy monsters straight out of a Lovecraft nightmare, just waiting to tear you apart. What really pulls you in right away is the game's unique and mesmerizing art style. It's dark, mysterious, and honestly pretty addictive to look at. The gameplay itself feels a lot like Vampire Survivors, which means your goal is to survive endless waves of enemies that keep getting tougher and tougher. But don't worry, you are not completely helpless. As you kill these creepy monsters, you gain experience points that let you upgrade and collect all sorts of crazy weapons and power-ups. This risk versus reward system keeps you on your toes and makes every run feel fresh and exciting. One of the coolest things about 20 Minutes Till Dawn is that it offers different modes to suit how you want to play. Whether you want a quick time challenge or you want to go all out in endless mode to see how long you can last, there's something here for every type of player. It's perfect for those quick mobile sessions or longer grind sessions when you really want to test your skills. Honestly, if you loved Vampire Survivors, this game will feel familiar but with its own twist, especially thanks to the Lovecraftian atmosphere. It's easy to pick up, hard to put down, and definitely worth the time if you want a well-rounded bullet hell experience on your phone. Give it a shot. You might find yourself hooked for hours trying to survive those terrifying waves. If you're into games like Vampire Survivors, then you definitely need to hear about Hades. Now, Hades isn't exactly a reverse bullet hell game like Vampire Survivors, but it has some similar vibes, and honestly, it's a masterpiece from Supergiant Games that deserves a shout out. For the longest time, Hades was only something you could play on PC or consoles, which was a bit of a bummer if you wanted that action on your phone. But guess what? Thanks to Netflix expanding their gaming lineup, Hades is now playable on iOS devices. That's right, you can dive into the underworld right from your phone. One thing to keep in mind is that Hades on iOS isn't a standalone app you just download from the App Store. You actually need a Netflix subscription to get your hands on the game. It's part of their new push to mix games into their streaming service. So if you're already paying for Netflix, this is a pretty sweet bonus. The game runs super smoothly on iPhones and iPads, and it really feels like a proper mobile port, not just a lazy throw together. What makes Hades such a must-try, especially if you love the kind of chaotic but rewarding gameplay that Vampire Survivors offers, is how it mixes roguelike elements with that bullet hell intensity, reversed or not. Plus, the art style is absolutely gorgeous, the story is engaging, and the soundtrack, it's unforgettable. The characters are so well written and bring a ton of personality to the game, which really elevates the whole experience beyond just dodging attacks and grinding levels. So yeah, if you're on iOS and looking for a game that combines challenge, style, and a killer soundtrack, Hades is definitely worth your time. Even though it's tied to Netflix and not your usual App Store purchase, it's one of those games that's hard to put down once you start. If you liked Vampire Survivors, this is a fresh kind of adventure on mobile that you shouldn't miss out on. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.